Hi all, good evening. Welcome to another session with me, Varun, on Tech Tablet. In this video, we would be talking more on SAP UI5. We've already completed 3 or 4 videos on what is SAP UI5, what is the framework, how does it work, what are the different parts involved in an end-to-end SAP UI5 application. In this specific video, we'll try to understand what are the different front end tools available for us to work on SAP UI5 and what are the different backend tools. Now, by backend, I mean OData or ABAP. And in front end, we had a couple of applications and we have a couple of applications left. So we'll be talking about each of those right now. So without any further delay, let us go into understanding what all we have and let us go deep into it. So in this video, we would be talking about what are the different front-end and back-end environments that we have or different IDEs that we have to work on the SAP ABAP or SAP OData current world scenario, right? Now, there are 4 front-end tools just to keep the topic very straight. We had Eclipse, we have VSCode, we have SAP Web IDE, and we have SAP BAS, that is Business Application Studio. Now let's just talk about each of these in a quick glance. We'll not go into the depth of understanding each and every tool, but we'll definitely try to have a base level understanding of what each tool is and how each tool can cater to our requirements. So the first one that we have here is the Eclipse IDE. This was the first tool that came into being when SAP UI5 Fiori came into picture. You can see I have a few videos related to Eclipse IDE in my older version of SAP UI5 training. It's on the YouTube platform. You can check it out, wherein I have used Eclipse IDE. And in Eclipse IDE, you had to work on this ADT, or you had to work with the ADT, that is ABAP Development Tools. If you downloaded this specific add-on, then your system or your Eclipse would be able to communicate with the backend, that is ABAP, via OData. So this is where Eclipse came into being. And Eclipse, as you can see, Eclipse plugins based architecture and comprehensive environment are still utilized. However, Eclipse has been deprecated and we no longer use Eclipse. But if you are, a fan of Eclipse and this is if this is something that you've decided to use, then you can still go to the last version of Eclipse, that is I believe it's Eclipse Juno, and you can still work on the same toolkit. Then we have SAP Web IDE, which is the second tool that came into picture. Now, this is an online capable tool. As you can see, the ABAP development was made open in Eclipse from 2012, while SAP Web IDE, a home product of SAP, was launched in 2014, right? Now, this is a browser-based tool, unlike Eclipse, and it is useful for both UI5 and Fiori as well. Now, one of the biggest advantages when you worked with SAP Web IDE was you could, deploy applications directly to the SAP Cloud platform, right? And this was a very big advantage or a gain for a lot of developers who were breaking their heads. And also debugging got a bit easier. Front-end elements got a bit easier because we had, elements pre-developed in it. So the development time was greatly reduced with the introduction of SAP Web IDE. However, you can see that it has been deprecated and it has been discontinued in favor of more advanced cloud native solution, which is SAP BAS. We'll talk about it going forward. The third one that we had was VS Code. VS Code is a platform created or released by Microsoft in 2015, and it very quickly came into limelight thanks to the tool being very lightweight and also having an extensible editor. Now, talking about VS Code, the biggest advantage that VS Code gained over the offline tool like Eclipse was, as you can see here, the extensions for SAP UI5 and CAP. So you could work on cloud application programming. CAP stands for Cloud Application Programming. So you could work on the CAP model development. Notwithstanding this, you could also work on modern SAP UI5 developments, which had all the list of latest elements, and you could also benefit from marketplace support, the automation features. I'm sure you all know VS Code has a lot to offer. It has a plethora of tools and add-ons that it can take in and still give you a good, decent output. Then finally, after a lot of research and after a lot of wait, SAP BAS or SAP Business Application Platform or SAP BAS came into existence, right? Now, the moment this came, this was a game-changing tool, right? Um, Mainly because it had a dedicated and an optimized environment for SAP extensions, including Fiori, microservices, cloud application platform, etc. Right? So the other advantage was you didn't have to waste your time or you didn't have to break your head over setting up the local environment first, overcoming the complexity, over, gathering all the building blocks and then being able to establish a connection. All these are now diluted. You do not have to do any of these right now. All you have to do is given the right configurations in the tool, it'll keep asking you questions, you keep giving answers, and you're done, right? So this way, SAP BAS has quickly gained a good advantage over any other application in the market. Notwithstanding this, you could also use built-in templates. You could leverage modern tooling features like SAP Fiori tools or enhanced productivity AI assisted development capabilities, which is a lot to ask for even now. So this is where our front end development, uh, came into being or came into existence. Now, going forward, uh, we can see you have the next tool, which is Eclipse. Now, Eclipse, on the other hand, is an offline tool which we spoke about. This was the first tool. It was founded in 2001, and it was, it came up with the ABAP development tools in 2012. Right? I'll, probably take the help of a marker. Yeah, it came up in 2012. Now, since then, Eclipse has been going really good. Now, we'll just talk about the key features here, that is the discontinuation status. Even now, I would say it is active if in case you use the older versions of Eclipse and not the latest version. If you use older versions of Eclipse, you can still use it. However, in the newer versions of Eclipse, I don't think you have a link or you have the ABAP development toolkit available for you to be able to work on SAP UI5. Now, the main advantage of using Eclipse was it would easily be able to integrate tools like Git. It would also support different kinds of landscapes, and also code generation would was a bit easier. And the biggest advantage that we had while using Eclipse was debugging was really easy. Like you could debug anything just in the matter of a click. Right? Now, the next tool that we have is VS Code. Again, VS follows the principles of agile development. I hope you all know what is agile. If you do not know, agile is a methodology where you can work on different things simultaneously. You do not have to work on one, finish it, and then move to another. Again, this is a management principle. I do not want to go deep into the management part of it. Let us stick to working on or talking about the technical part. Now, when we talk about VS Code, the major thing was the flexibility of the tool. I mean, VS Code offers a really lightweight tool, and the other icing on the cake is the kind of customization that VS Code can offer. Right? Notwithstanding this, it also gives you a great support, and you have a good community support available. You also have an extensive marketplace available, so that was also not a challenge. The third thing was you could also integrate it with Git or any other collaborations. And the last thing, which became important later, was you could use it with multiple coding platforms or coding languages like JS, TS, HTML, CSS, you name it and you could use it. Okay, and this is not just it. These are just a few tools or languages that I've written. There is a whole array of tools that you could use, and VS Code would still show you a good consistency in its performance. So this is one of the biggest reasons why VS Code came into active being. Then we had SAP Web IDE, which got discontinued. Now we'll just talk about SAP Web IDE at a very basic level. As you all know by now, this is a browser-based development tool. You had different project templates that were already pre-developed in it. All you had to do was use it and or get it, extend it, and deploy it. So it became very easy for a lot of developers to be able to actually deploy applications at a much faster pace. You had an integrated debugging available, so debugging also got easier, because of which you could streamline your process. And then finally, development or cloud deployment could also be done in SAP Cloud Platform or SAP BTP. So all these helped in setting a legacy, or setting a milestone for the next tool to take over. And the next tool that came in was SAP BAS, which actually uh, acted like a forerunner to SAP Web IDE. We see how the features in SAP BAS are absolutely mind-boggling, not because of the interface only, but also because of too many features like zero configuration setup, the kind of development support the SAP UI5 community offers. You could go with template driven development. You can directly access Fiori elements, extend them, and you can just deploy them. You have integrated deployment pipeline to BTP. Notwithstanding these features, there are too many other features that you can work on. There are too many options that you could work on. Too many plugins that you could download, and you can come out with an app of your choice. And the icing on the cake in this application is you also have AI features that you could use. Now what else could you expect when you're working on an application? All you have to do is be able to connect the dots, and your application is up and live. So here, we'll just talk about it at at a subsurface level. So the first one is zero configuration setup. Now we will be looking at all of these when we go into the front end part of it. Right now we're just trying to have a basic theoretical understanding of how different tools work and why do we use different tools. Now when we actually go into the theoretical part, sorry, when we go into the practical part, and I mean notwithstanding the theory, that is where we would be looking at why it is called a zero config setup. What are the different support features that SAP UI5 has to offer? What is template driven development? How do you just use one template, make some minimal changes and deploy it? What are different Fiori elements? And what is an integrated deployment pipeline? We will look at all of these. Okay, so we have something called as an SAP BTP, which is Business Technology Platform. Now what it does is basically, here you can connect different tools or different platforms, not just for deployment, but you could also test. You can build, you can collaborate, or you can you can work on cross function. So basically BTP is a lot. Okay, I think I would recommend you to watch a video or check out the internet to understand what is BTP, so you have a deeper understanding of it. Now you can directly deploy your pipelines or any of your your work to the cloud. Now this cloud integration, what it does is it simplifies the whole lifecycle management, and it provides you with CI/CD, that is continuous integration and continuous deployment, because of which you would be continuously able to deliver the capabilities as per the client's requirement without delay, while you're constantly working on the platform. So this is one outer edge that SAP BAS has come up with. Now going forward into the next one. Now that we have an understanding of what are the different applications that we have, let us just quickly have a comparison chart. So you see, talking about the platform, Eclipse and VS Code are offline, while BAS and Web IDE is online, so they work with the cloud. Eclipse and VS Code, both of them offer good support to ABAP development toolkit, so not a problem. BAS and Web IDE need no introduction because they are home built applications. The setup complexity was very high for Eclipse. It is above average for VS Code, and it is very easy for BAS and Web IDE. Extensibility is good with almost all the applications. However, an offline application with an offline application, I think you can always extend an application better with more capabilities. Coming to cloud application, yes, you can basically work on cloud application on all the platforms. However, for SAP, BAS and Web IDE, these are native. I mean, you have inbuilt in them, though Web IDE does not do it proper. For offline work capabilities, Eclipse and VS Code are offline. SAP, BAS and Web IDE are not. They are completely online web-based applications. Now, talking about the status, almost all of them are up and active except the Web IDE, generated by the SAP. Except for the Web IDE, the rest all are absolutely up and active. Then you have BAS differentiation. Now, what BAS differentiation basically means is how does each and every application work? What does it basically do? So here you can see that you have, when you're working on an Eclipse, you work on a traditional desktop, or using the traditional ABAP. But when it comes to VS Code, we all know that it's pretty flexible. It is pretty lightweight. The extensions are very strong, or you have good number of extensions that can be used. Then you have SAP BAS. It is completely cloud-based. So you have a lot of pre-developed, configured development spaces, and it is also BTP focused. When we talk of Web IDE, because it's discontinued, I don't think there's any point in talking about it. But however, Web IDE has set the foundation for BAs to be able to take it to the next level. And finally, when we talk of the use cases, BAS and Web IDE, both of them, the goal was to go towards the cloud-based applications. However, when we talk of Eclipse or VS Code, it is moreover with full stack SAP, or MERN stack SAP. This is where both of these fit into. So with this, we have completed understanding about the front end. Now let's talk about the back end. In back end, there are only two parts. The first one being ABAP, the second one being OData. Now, I don't think ABAP needs any deep introduction, because if you're moving ahead with SAP UI5, then the basic understanding is you are good with ABAP, or you at least have a decent knowledge or exposure to ABAP. So talking about ABAP, it has data dictionary. Every business logic that you use is defined there, be it anything. Okay. And also, when you're working on this, the service creation, you develop OData services. You can use it for RFCs, BAPIs, or any external consumption. Now, when we talk of OData, on the other hand, OData acts, moreover, like an API, wherein it's trying to connect the ABAP, which is the back end, and the web, which is the front end. And OData would be in between. It would be acting as a bridge to extract information from the back end, and to throw the information, or to show the information on the front end, right? Now, batch operations is something that you can very easily do on SAP OData. So yeah, OData service is the next thing that we had. So we have now understood around 6 platforms, or around 6 tools: Eclipse, SAP Web IDE, VS Code, SAP BAS, ABAP, and OData service. So these are the different tools, or the different elements that we would be using when you want to become an SAP UI5 developer. Now, this is a quick flow chart for you to have an understanding of what is the evolution. So it all started with Eclipse and SAP UI5. Then we had the first cloud transition, wherein we moved on to SAP Web IDE. Then we again moved on to another offline platform, which is VS Code. Then we moved on to BAS in 2019. And now we are looking at automation and AI, where the front end is almost interactive, where you have OData, metadatas, where you have tools which are able to communicate with your, probably there is a voice getting involved, or auto-generated text. Now this is where we are moving towards going ahead. So this is the evolution of SAP development, or SAP UI5 Fiori development tools or toolkit. So now if any of you have any queries with regards to any of how these applications work or what it is, please be a bit patient. We would be looking at each and every tool as we keep going ahead. However, notwithstanding that, if you have any kind of a questions related to understanding, what it is or how it is or how we work, please feel free to use the comment section below, and I would try to answer you at the earliest. Now, this is the integration workflow, where you have your SAP database layer first, then it hits your ABAP application server, then you have your OData gateway, then your front end, then your end user. So it is a 5 layered, architecture, right from SAP ABAP layer to the end user who would be using or who would be consuming your business application. So this is how it all works. So I hope you understood. I hope you have also, now you have a deeper idea and an understanding of when each and every tool was founded, to a point where what are the capabilities that we have with each and every tool. Thank you very, very much. If you have understood, I really hope you've had clear insights of what I was trying to convey. And I'm really hoping that this has had some impact on your development journey. Thank you very much. In the next video, we would be looking, or we would be understanding more on how to start working on a project, wherein we would be working with a data dictionary first. We would be working on a package next, and then we would be looking at an SEGW OData project. Do stay subscribed, do stay tuned. There's a lot coming ahead on this channel with regards to SAP. So do not go anywhere. Thank you very much. You all have a good day ahead.